And we're back with Cyrus Webb Presents here in Los Angeles, or Conversations LA as we're calling it. And we're so excited to welcome to our program today writer and author Lorna O. She's an individual that's been able to do some amazing things, of course, when it comes to television, but also she really created a little bit of a stir last year. We talked about it on the Conversations Live, the radio show, with her script Mercy Road. She made a decision to be able to share it with the world through a special portal. We'll talk to you guys about that, but also how she got over the fear of being able to share herself that way with the world and to share her skills. Lorna, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
You know, we were just talking about before we began the taping how we feel like we know each other already. You know, I got a chance to speak with you on Conversations Live, the radio show, and so excited you could be a part of this with us here in Los Angeles. You know, I think what you've done with Mercy Road really is a big part of who you are, and that is just to be able to share and also to be able to know that by putting it out there, you never know what's going to happen. Do you think that's kind of been the key to your success in life?
I think so. I think it's just about listening to that inner voice that you have inside of yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's a scary voice, and sometimes we choose to ignore it, and sometimes we just decide to live with the fear and just do it. And I think it pays off. I think inevitably it does pay off. I think moving to Los Angeles, I just kind of took off and came. I quit my first job that I got as a post-PA on the Bernie Mac show, and most people just stay on with the show. But sadly, it turned out that the following season, Bernie got very ill, and he just wasn't able to go in to go to set every day. Sure. And I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that I had to, you know, that I could, that space wasn't for me anymore, although I loved being there. And Bernie's just such a lovely human being, and one of the, you know, people who I dearly miss. Mm-hmm. But I think I knew that it was my time to exit and to go do other things and to get closer to my writing dream. And I ended up working for a playwright by the name of David Talbert. And he ended up, he was in the middle of writing his novel, Baggage Claim, and now, you know, fast forward all these years, Baggage Claim is now, you know, was produced as a feature film. Right. And it was nice to be able to work with, you know, him just kind of proofing, going over and, you know, offering suggestions and ideas on his book. Right. You know, just newly coming out here, and he was very gracious in, you know, allowing us to contribute, myself and another assistant, allowing to contribute to the book. And he mounted a series of plays called the Soul Theater series, and I participated in doing like the marketing for it. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you know, taking those chances when they come and just saying, okay, I hear this voice, I don't know how I'm going to do this, I don't see a way. Because when I left the show, I couldn't even file for unemployment. I hadn't even been in the city of Los Angeles long enough to file. So I really would have been in dire straits if I didn't get a job. Literally, the show ended on Friday. I got a job on Monday. Wow. So, and I didn't know that was going to happen. I just knew that, you know, the show that season was over, and that I, you know, made this choice not to go back, and you know, making decisions like that are scary. And just doing it because you know it's what you're supposed to be doing usually pays off, and I feel like it paid off with Mercy Road, in that I felt like I got my writing out there. I got a script that I feel very passionately about to the world, and in thinking about what I want to do next with it has been also sort of terrifying and exciting at the same time, because I want to follow it up. And so right now I've been contemplating. They were like, oh, you're going to write a book, or you're going to do this? And I thought, well, you know, somebody said you should start directing, Lorna. I'm like, oh my God. Well, I was like, no, I should not start directing. Actually, no. And my husband's a TV and film director. And so we've talked about it all the time about me possibly directing, but I just sort of, you know, whatever. And when this woman who knows me very well said I should be directing, I thought, oh my gosh, but I didn't throw it away so easily. I was like, maybe she's seeing something I'm not. And the thought terrified me. Like, oh my God, I'm going to direct. I'm not one of those people who went to film school to direct, but in the back of my mind, it's like, that's what I'm going to do with Mercy Road. I'm going to direct it. I'm going to bring this thing to life, and I'm going to end it, and it's going to be a full-length feature. And I thought that seems like the natural step for this, to show that, yeah, I posted this script, but you know what, I'm gonna make it. You know, I'm gonna make it. The fear that you can't make a screenplay after somebody has read it, I just want to say, no, you can, and people will still enjoy it, and they're
Right.
going to appreciate the changes that I made, because the translation from page to film isn't always going to work. So you're going to inevitably have to make changes, and maybe that might excite them to see what changes that I inevitably will have to make. And,
Sure.
that's terrifying, and it's an exciting endeavor, and I am looking forward to it. I'm welcoming it with the fear. The fear does not go away. I just accept that the fear is going to always live inside of me when I'm doing something that I've never done before. And I'm just going to have to sit with that and be okay with that as I move forward. And also knowing that I can do it.
Exactly.
It's one thing to have the fear. It's another thing to have the fear and say, I can't. No, I'm going to sit with that fear and say, I can.
Right.
I can do this. I'm scared about it. I'm scared about what will happen. I'm scared how the challenges that I might face. But I will try and be as prepared as I can for it, and just know I will keep going.
Exactly. Lorna, the thing that's so interesting, and your website, writersalwayswrite.com, I think says it all, in that when you're creative, you just want to create.
Yes.
You just want to be able to do that. I thought about something interesting when you talked about you were directing Mercy Road, and that is that, when it comes to, and when you and I had the conversation on the radio show, for some reason this didn't even pop in my mind, that really this happens all the time in some ways. When you think about a book
Yes.
that ends up becoming a film,
Right.
and so we've all read it. So, and people still buy the book, just like,
Absolutely.
So, I think it's really, do you think though part of it is the thinking outside the box? The fear is one part, but you think also people are so used to a certain idea of what a path to success looks like?
Absolutely, and you could see it. You could see that fear with a lot of internet web series, where people didn't know what to do with it. Oh my goodness! And why are you doing a web series? You should just make a feature. And you see people who are like, you know what? I'm tired of this system saying that what I have to offer isn't necessarily what they're looking for, and that's fair enough. Maybe they know something about their audience that we don't, but at some point, you're not going to wait for that validation to say, oh, well, I'm going to wait until I can create something for your audience. You're going to say, I am very passionate about this particular subject matter, and I'm going to do it. And that, I think, that was scary at a time, but now people are embracing it. Now they're looking for the web series. They're looking for people
Right.
who have created a brand of their own creation, and people are responding to it in the nation or across the world even. And now they're seeking these people out, whereas before they thought, oh, this is, it's the same thing. I think in any business, it's the establishment versus the up and coming. And I think there's a certain fear that the establishment has of people who buck the norm. And it's interesting when you come across people who are like that, individuals who you might perceive to, oh, they're knocking you, oh, they're telling you can't do it. It's not always just that singular thing. It's them thinking it has to be done in this sort of way. And when you say, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it, la, 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 they're like, no, you can't.
Right.
It's not that you can't. It's if you said you were going to do this, and this, like a traditional way, they might say, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I think you can do it. But the moment you say, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do X, Y, Z, Q, R, S, A, B, T, F, they're going to be like, wait a minute, that's not the alphabet. That's not the alphabet. What are you talking about? The alphabet is like this. It's A, B, C, D, and if you do it the other way, you're not going to be successful.
Right.
And that's, categorically not true. We see that all the time. I think the most successful people are the people who have figured out alternative ways to find a path to create or to bring to life something they have in their brain. We see it with Steve Jobs and with Bill Gates and with all these people who had a vision. And I think the vision belongs to the vision holder, and no one can
Right.
take that away from you. No one can take that away. They may try to copy it, or they may try to pull pieces from it, but no one can take that absolute vision away. So inevitably, whatever they do will come out different than what you do. That's why I think I was able to release the fear of posting Mercy Road, because people
Right.
have copyright issues and, oh, they're going to steal my idea. I'm like, well, they could try, but it's my vision.
Right.
They might take an element of it. They might take something that I did because they thought was cool. And frankly, I find it flattering.
Right.
I find it flattering. If you find something in my work that you find is what you want to take, I'm like, whoa, wow, what a give myself props.
Right.
Thank you.
Exactly.
But yeah.
You know, Lorna, the other thing is, I mean, you've been talking about vision. That is such a big thing. And I think for a lot of people is realizing that all of us, I think this is one thing that's always surprised me, that people believe that visions are for a certain group, that not everyone can have a vision, that not everyone is meant to see a dream realized. When did you realize that it was possible for Lorna O to have a dream realized?
I think the moment I decided to move to Los Angeles and I decided to be a writer. Even before that, when I said I was going to write, I've always wanted to write since I was a child. Since I was 5, I remember saying that to my mom, I wanted to write. But, you know, again, you're talking about, well, that's not a normal way to make money. She didn't, that does not quantify as a salary to her being a writer. She just saw it as a hobby. And so she was like, oh, that's a hobby, that's a hobby. And I believed her for a very long time. And I think when I hit college and it was the time to like, okay, what are you going to do with your life? Like probably junior year, I was like, well, I do want to write. That is what I want to do. And I took all these quacky sort of personality tests and career tests and evaluations. And really, I just needed some type of validation outside of myself, which when you're taking these tests is really you. Right. But it felt like, well, I took a scientific document and I checked a bunch of boxes and it told me after I was done that I should be a writer. Like I needed that
right.
because I wasn't getting it, and you know, whatever it means, you know, God knows what I needed, and that's what I needed. And after that I was like, yes, I'm going to write. And it was that decision that it was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then you should assess the risks. You should assess the cost. How much are you willing to lose to fulfill this dream? And when you say I'm willing to lose everything, then you know you're ready.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that you're not. The fear, like I say, will never go away. There's a certain level of fear, but also when you have your vision, the fear will eventually die down. You're like, I'm just going to do it, and then when challenges come, then all the fears pop back and all the negativity comes to your head. Like, why did you do this? Why, God, why? And you're like, I'm going to go back, but you've come too far, so you can't go back. And you just keep pressing forward, and there's people who encourage you along the way. But I think that for me, when I declared that I was going to be a writer and I was going to come to Hollywood and do TV and film, I was like, okay, this is it. It's do or die. I'm losing it all. Whatever I have to lose, I will sacrifice it because that's what it takes. Right. It's always what it takes. I'm not going to say the creative field is any different than any other field. When you have a big vision and a big dream, you better know it's going to cost you a lot of money. Exactly. And it's going to cost you a lot of pain. It's going to cost you friendships. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you everything. So you really should assess how much you want to lose and are willing to lose, and be realistic about it, and decide that that is okay.
What an amazing thing. And that's exactly what you've been able to do. And you're showing other people, Lorna, what they can do as well. And I think that's the thing, to be able to release that own superpower within themselves, to know that they can be able to do it as well. And they have you to look to. Again, everyone, Lorna O has been our guest. Great conversation, Lorna, as I knew it would be. Even here in Los Angeles, my very first trip, I knew it was going to be great. Again, everyone, writersalwayswrite.com. Is that the best place for people to find you, Lorna?
Yeah, that is. I mean, I have Instagram, Lorna_pearls. And I have a Twitter, LornaCO2. Everything is all connected. You can find me. I have an email account directly set up with Writers Always Write, which people have been writing me, which I appreciate, and I respond to everybody in some way or form, and I let them know I appreciate, you know, their emails, I appreciate their thoughts, I appreciate their feedback, but also leave comments on the page, because that's really helpful too. It helps me gauge how people are responding to the material, whether it's good or bad, whether they have a question about something. I am happy to take any kind of feedback. I'm a tough girl. A few criticisms is not going to break me. You know, I'm not welcoming trolls, but not even a troll can break me. You know, I've you know, trolls say all kinds of insane things, but you know, the usually the case with trolls is because they're not doing anything. So in some way, I you know, I don't like try and get angry at it. I just kind of feel bad for them, because this is it for them. Like writing something nasty on the bottom of a comment section and not really contributing to the conversation at large is really, you know, it's a sad thing. So, but I welcome all feedback.
All right.
You know?
So make sure you all stay connected with her, writersalwayswrite.com. And Lorna, definitely looking forward to the next conversation with you.
You as well.